Previously, we explored the roots of brotherhood. Now, in episode 2, we dive into how friendships deepen, navigating relationships, overcoming obstacles, and growing together through the years. Let's continue the journey.
That's your genius. That's the genius I think Max talks about. I hear you speak and I'm just like, man, this guy's going to beat me at my own game. He's in my lane and beating me. You know what I'm saying?
No, that's
Right,
your lane.
No. It's
Listen.
not. No. The lane is wide enough for lots of people, right? So I say that to say getting people to see, things about themselves and opening new perspective of looking at themselves is one of the most amazing things about therapy, to see somebody blossom and grow. Now I understand myself better because I think for some people with an ADHD mind, our passion is always tied to we can't do anything else but this. What a good way to discipline and create good guardrails for yourself by giving the opportunity for you to self-regulate and say, yeah, I can do this and then do this over here. It helped me look back in things and go, oh, that makes sense. I was just looking at them okay, Mike's in this phase. He's onto this thing now. He's moving on to something else. But the way that you have turned it around, now I know how my brain works. Now I know what I do, why I like to do, what's my motivation, and how to outthink my faults and my weaknesses. And now with the health thing and managing your thoughts more with discipline of diet and losing weight and all that stuff, you've just got all the keys and started unlocking everything to turn this whole franchise around. So I'm very proud of you. I can't wait to see what you're going to accomplish.
Yeah, I agree, Donnie. Like when you told me it was so on brand and consistent, it's like the first time you saw a cheetah or something like that, and you don't know. It's like, well, it's not a house cat, it's not a lion. It's like, oh, that's a cheetah. Yeah, of course.
Right.
He runs 66 miles per hour. It's a cheetah. Grace is a great word. I kind of jotted that down. Mike's my friend, and whatever this is what it is. But he's a grown man. All I can do is speak words, and regardless of what the choice is, I'm here. We're here. And I think that's how we've stayed friends. It was a judgment-free zone. My presence is not conditional. We're already committed. And I think when you said, this is what's happening in my life, this was my diagnosis, and this is where I'm going forward, it was just like, of course, we were already good. In terms of respecting each other as grown men, it's always been that.
I don't have too many other circles. I have a tribunal and you are two of it. There's one person on the outside, but there are literally 3 men in this world that I know if something happened to me, my wife can call them. You know what I mean? It's you, Max, Donnie, and someone else you guys know, Andre Ennis.
Yeah.
That's my tribe. Right. That my tribe is very small. So Max, now, so we both know Donnie and I are diagnosed with ADHD. And I'm like, I think you're running from that one. I do. But here's the funny thing, right? I don't know what your variance of it is because you've built and maintained this wonderful life. So like we said earlier, when you came into our world, we were chaos. You had it together and we were all like everywhere.
Right.
You had your career, your marriage, everything was just
lined up.
I think it's worth a look.
And so many things would make sense and it would make it easy for me to take it easy on myself.
Give yourself the grace,
man. And I'm sure Chinyetta would be like, of course.
Now, here's the thing. I'll tell you this. This for me is hilarious because you're undiagnosed, so I can't put it on you. But 2 of the 3 men in my tribunal are diagnosed with my whole crew, with the exception of one who won't go. My whole crew here with me.
Makes a lot of things make sense.
Listen, I would ask what it's like, but we're all coming to this realization. Late in life, I don't know when, Donnie, you got your diagnosis, because I got mine.
You know what? Word is, I'm on a mango tree somewhere, circa 1970 something, in Antigua. The teacher tells my grandmother, this guy is always looking off somewhere. He's distracted. But nobody know what that is. I did well in junior high and high school. I did well in college too, but it's not until I started to do graduate stuff and things had a timetable, and professors wanted all these details, and I just couldn't seem to get anything done until crunch time, because in my mind, that's when the energy comes. I'm waiting for that boost.
And on the stick.
4 o'clock in the morning, and I'm knocking it out. I'm always surprised that I get a decent grade. It could be higher. The professor will say, did you proofread this? Because there's like, if it wasn't for these typos, you would have got a thing, A plus or whatever, but we'll give you a B plus. At that time, I was just so happy that I passed. I'm just like, man, I'm a genius, until the next paper comes, and then I'm going to this thing again. And now that I know more about it, there was always also a time issue. Like, telling me a paper is 3 weeks away made it sound like it was 5 months away. And so it's just like, oh man, I got time.
That's the thing with us. Time doesn't register the same way in our minds.
Yeah. So it really wasn't until late in adulthood. And I'll tell you, one of the difficulties of it, and I deal with a lot of professionals also that still struggle with this, is I think of the opportunities that I know I passed up, because that's the worst part of it. So part of me going back was really this desire to I don't want to lose out on any more opportunities to move up the ladder. I pushed myself, and when I had to take my license, I wanted to give myself the best opportunity to do well. I made sure I got accommodations. That made me feel okay about getting it. That opened more doors for me. Now it's something I fight for every time. One of my things is, if I feel anxious about something, that's the thing I need to do. Because I know my fear is based around some of the challenges related to ADHD. I fight them to this day in everything that I do.
Okay. That's actually really, I'm trying to think of the right word, just in terms of thinking about, because we're all getting to that age where we're moving to the third act.
Right.
And if for no other reason than maximizing your chances, it's like, check. I mean, the worst thing they can tell you is that you don't have ADHD. I don't mean to make light of it. I'm really just trying to say,
listen, we're being honest, man. That's how we feel. That's how.
But, to the extent to which you need to give yourself the best chance to be successful with the brain you've got.
Right.
First, because you're not getting another one.
Right.
You might as well, there's no harm in it. But no, I haven't been diagnosed, and I haven't even gone down that path. As I've learned more about it, someone close to me has just received a diagnosis. As I've tried to figure out what it is, what it means, it's like, hey, that feels pretty familiar.
I just want to lay out key things to note about ADHD, which is why people may construe sometimes, as much as I say I missed opportunities, doesn't mean that I wasn't successful. One of the things that's difficult with ADHD is that the areas where people do so well, it masks the deficiencies. So it's not surprising to find somebody with ADHD do very well in public speaking, can really engage people, have amazing ideas, can probably present information in a very creative way that's engaging for people. So once you hear stuff like that, you can't think somebody's struggling with just paperwork and organization and so on and so forth, right? But other things that's involved in it, so you might have somebody who's very creative and can demonstrate passion in a lot of areas. The parts that's disorganized may be hidden. Then there's usually some kind of vice, whether it's alcohol, substance, food, sex, whatever it may be. It acts as the mood regulator, because there's also some aspects of depression, some aspects of anxiety that's involved, right? And only the people who are very closest to you will probably see some of the really deficiencies. If you have a spouse, you forget stuff here, you forget to pay that bill, you forget stuff in the fridge, like that kind of stuff. People speaking to you over and over again. I just want to be clear that people with ADHD sometimes can be very charming, very articulate, present very well, and you see that part, but something's not adding up, because then you need to see their work. And they can explain everything they're doing, but it's just that's the part that they struggle.
As you were saying that, when you were talking about the time constraint thing, I had an aha moment, and it's probably something that's documented. And I realized why we like to stick in my opinion, it was just an aha moment. I was like, because the anxiety, the fear, that pressure creates enough stimulation. We're stimulated by the anxiety, the pressure, the deadline. Now the energy is up because you're under that pressure. But that in and of itself is a form of stimulation versus this is something I'm excited to do.
The high that you get after a 3-hour crunch time and finish a paper and get it in by 9 o'clock and it's 6 o'clock. I'm still on the third page, right? I get in and I get a decent grade. There's no high like that.
It's terrible.
It's amazing. I'm a genius, right?
It's
until the next assignment.
And here's a funny thing. My psychiatrist actually said this to me. You'll find a common thread between people who are genius. And it's like, she's like, they have that in common. A lot of people we call genius have that in common. I think it probably has to do with the ability of folk with ADHD to be able to hyper-focus on things. It's a superpower. Once you understand how to deal with the other parts. And even if you don't, because some people, like you said, they present so well in some places, they can actually compensate for it. Right. You delegate the things away. You can focus on the creative, whatever stimulates you. And if you're lucky enough to be able to delegate away,
Right.
So, I mean, we're all of a certain age, so health becomes an issue. Like my thing in this present moment, it started with ADHD, which really wasn't a scare for me. It was like a enlightenment, which was like, okay, it made a lot of things back there make sense. So I'm good on it, which is why I was able to move forward so quickly, because it was like, okay, thank you. That made perfect sense. Moving right along. What do we need to do? And what it did bring to light, because the doctors want to make sure that your heart is going to be okay on stimulants, you're in generally good health. You find out about the pre-diabetes, high cholesterol, low testosterone, and the non-existent vitamin D. I got my juicer, I got my standing bike, and I went to work because honestly, I was going to get those meds. I don't want the cholesterol stuff. I don't want the blood pressure stuff. I don't want the diabetes stuff, but I will take the ADHD stuff. Because that part, I think I can control with a little help, but I know I can absolutely control the cholesterol, the blood sugar, the exercise, and those things that I can control. And I took control of those. So, Donnie, what's been your health scare? Could we call it a health scare or like...
No, it was a health... Let me be transparent. My wife is an excellent cook, and I love food, and I love all the wrong foods. I mean, you're talking to a guy whose Sunday breakfast growing up used to be bread and gravy. I remember she was cooking some food, and I remember rushing home from work looking for all this food, and she brought out bok choy and some Israeli rice. And dude, the anger that came over me, I wanted to throw that plate to the wall. And I left the table. I went outside to breathe. Two things happened to me simultaneously. I was shocked at how angry I was. And then I was also shocked at how angry I was over food. I'm just like, why would you cook 3 meats in a row and then throw bok choy in on the 4th day? That's just to give you a backstory of what you're dealing with. Saturday nights was McDonald's, the 20-piece nuggets for $4.99. My wife will tell you, I'll come home, I open a box, I count all the nuggets. One time they gave me 19 and I had to go back. I sit down, count the nuggets, I get 5 sweet and sour sauce, I watch Saturday Night Live. That was the routine. So I went to the doctor and then they said, yeah, you're pre-diabetic. And it was at the point where they started me on medication. And I was just like, oh my goodness, this can't be real. We were laughing about compression socks, but I was actually wearing them. I was on diuretics, and then I'd take off my socks and my foot would have 2 different shapes. And I was just like, what the hell is going on? So that's when I really started trying to work out, try different juicing, fast, what have you. At that time too, I had got placed on a CPAP machine. I had to do a sleep study and all this other kind of stuff. So it was just like multiple things happening at the same time. I was just like, what is this? I did something similar to you. Probably wasn't fasting, but really a lot of working out, manage what I ate, just drinking no juices, cut out all the juices. So I lost weight. They got me off of my medication. And of course, my head goes, oh, I'm free. So of course,
Right back.
Start getting my 20-piece nuggets again. So exercise, I've actually shifted my priorities. People would say, if you ask your priority, that's another challenge I do at work. Tell me what's your priority list. And people would say, like maybe God, wife, kids, children, if they don't have a faith. And I said, no, it's your health. After your faith or your belief, it's your health, because there's nothing else you can do. You can't love your kids as much as you would like to, especially in action, demonstration, your wife, your family, your extended family, the mental health and the physical health, to extend your love, to help others and to take care of others. So health, exercise, and now we know that health and exercise has so much to do with our overall mental health. We really have the opportunity to reverse and change a lot of the health issues that many of us may face, or at least decrease the high risk level that we fall into. I always hate the fact that any new thing that comes out, people are on the highest list. Alzheimer's, biggest thing that's going to be studied for the next 5 years. We're on the top of the list. But we're on the top of the list because sometimes we're most stressed, we don't get enough sleep, our diets are not always the best. This is the stuff that people should be learning from junior high school. They're teaching people financial literacy, but they really should be teaching them also how to eat properly and how to make exercise, not just a sport that you can go to the NBA in or whatever, but you should just exercise because it's the right thing to do.
Thank you.
Yeah. I know that was a mouthful.
We appreciate it.
I'm at the beginning of that journey, actually. So doing a sleep study now. So the compression stocks and double shaped feet, I've actually had some improvement there. It isn't so much that I love food. I like food. It's just such a low priority. That's such a narrow path to being careful about what you eat and eating properly. Because if you don't care, you end up falling in sort of the same bucket. So I might eat McDonald's just like I need sustenance and I haven't eaten since whenever. I'll wake up and skip breakfast. Then it's like, I don't feel like going outside. I've got to take this call. I've got to do whatever. I'll get some gummy bears. And then it's like, you're leaving work to get on the train. It's like, you know what? I'm about to pass out. Yeah. I think those are the Golden Arches 2 blocks away. And then you get to the end of the night and it's like, today I had seltzer, gummy bears, coffee, and a double cheeseburger, which is about as unhealthy as it gets. But at the end of the day, you start packing that up and you become sedentary, which is another thing that happens as you get to this act. You can't burn that off anymore. I'm getting to the age now too, like my knees hurt. But I think that's because I'm too short to be a man of this weight. It's all connected, but it's staying on top of it. I'm getting on top of it, getting it under control. I have all the tools I need. It's just a matter of putting it together. Right. Because I'm not going to start fasting until after Thanksgiving. I don't want to offend all the people close to me that are prepping this food.
I'm a little different. I'm like, I don't care who I offend. It's my body. You're not the one who's going to have to be pricking yourself. So be offended. Be very offended. That's okay.
So but I think when I'm going to do stuff like this, I try to meditate first. There's this comedian, Dion Cole. He said, get slim for once. Of course the food is going to taste good. It's always going to taste good. Right? So I know the oxtail is going to be good. I know whatever else is going to be good. I've tasted it. It's always good. I always lick my fingers. I'm really striving my wife bought these plates. She bought these plates that have like portion control. So all the plates are in sections. I'm going to bring that with me so that I don't overeat and overindulge, because I've been juicing for the last week and change. And I see a difference in my clothes and how I'm feeling. I literally feel lighter. It takes a while to get to that space where you feel lighter. And now that acts as another motivation to keep it going. That's like the beginning stages of when you exercise or fasting. Once you start to feel that difference and see it, that in itself becomes its own boost to energize you. Yeah. So it's like, I don't want to go back to how I was feeling 2 weeks ago. Mike really does bring out a competitive spirit in me. I refuse to go back to our teenage life where he's walking around with a 6-pack. And I'm not. So I'm just not going to give him back.
It's funny. You talk about the 6-pack. Mike is vindicated. You did wear a shirt to my wedding. There's lore that Mike was wearing a vest with no shirt. And it is untrue. I want to dispel that myth.
Yes.
Mike did, in fact, wear a shirt.
I did wear a shirt. That is funny because that is my first encounter
No.
we didn't meet, but
I knew your sister. I knew Goldie.
I crashed your wedding.
My wife are close.
I don't know how I got in there. I don't know who I was with. I remember you guys were singing the song and you didn't get through the song. And I was like, oh, what is this? Come on, bro. It's yours. It's your day. I was talking all this mess. And to see this day that you are one of the closest people in my heart. From that moment where we were strangers, I was crashing. I was like, this is nice. To see where we are today, to me, is beautiful. And it's just kind of like we have been in each other's lives in some way for so long. Max has the longest marriage out of all of us. That's where I met him, where I saw him the first time, laid my eyes on him, was at his wedding. I love his wife. That's my big sister. I will fight. She just has to point me the direction. And it's happening. You know what I mean? On site, like for real. Just even being around her kind of helped me. I remember she did something that blew my mind, that someone who moved the way she did professionally, moved the way she does domestically. And I remember we were there in his house and she was like, I've got to get dinner ready for my husband. I was like, what? The way she said it, it was like, that's important to her, not just to him. It's important to her. That's something she wants to do. That's something she takes pride in. I was like, this is just a businesswoman. She's like, I want to cook. I looked at her, I was like, I want one of those. Not that one, but it's just like, you know, I'll never scheme on my boy like that. You know, I was just like, that's out there? You know what I mean? Because in your head, you're like, women are either domestic or professional. The mix, the two kind of don't happen. It's a myth or mythology, whatever. And then I happen to enjoy a life where that is where I'm at. Where my wife is business, but she can cook. She is solely responsible for fattening me up. Between her guava cheesecake, I'm going to name names. Between her guava cheesecake, her carrot cakes, little experiments that she does with chicken and steak. She did me in.
I can. No,
she took me from 180 to 256. I'm saying it. I am saying it. She did that to me.
It was not good for the man to be alone.
I like that.
Now, it's funny because like she kind of makes jokes all the time about this stuff, this medical stuff. Because like I will come out of the doctor's office and she'll ask, so what did he say? And I'm like, and I really, and Marty, like, well, what happened? Like, what did they say? Like, you said your knee hurts. Like, what are you supposed to do next? And it's funny. I'm a grown ass man, but there are so many ways that because I have to come home and answer to somebody, that so much of the stuff would not get resolved. You know,
that's true.
Like I would just limp along without the sort of, there's a little bit of external discipline.
We need supervision. We need supervision. Call it what it is. We need supervision. We can't be trusted. We need supervision.
Some of us need a little supervision. I am starting to get some of those diagnoses, and I am on some of those medications. And it's at the stage now where I do have to make a bunch of changes because these are things that they're not, the exercise thing is something I just have to do. Like I used to get up and go play soccer with Marcus and don't do it anymore. And I don't do anything. Like, I hate the gym because it's boring. It feels a little narcissistic, but I just don't like it. But I have no excuse. Tanietta she bought a Peloton bike and she's put it in a place like where it's accessible. I got to literally pass it every time I leave that. It literally is in a place where I cannot not see it every day.
Use it, B. It works.
Well, I used it on Monday.
There you go. That's a win.
Don't laugh because today's Wednesday.
Doesn't matter. That is a win. Even if it was last Monday, not the Monday that just went, but the Monday before that, it doesn't matter. That's still a win. We take those.
And I will say this, the other positive change that's happened for me, because I do realize there are sometimes I've needed some external motivation and sort of responsibility partner, is I got a nutritionist. So that turned into a whole bunch of other conversations. She like, I've got a whole brand of food. I got the meals coming, and she put me on to this whole app where it feels really narcissistic to take photos of your food all the time. It's like, look at me, I'm eating. But
They are not
it
paying me for this, but I have one. It's called, what is this? Yuka. I scan everything. I scan everything in the grocery store before it gets into my cart. That's how I roll now.
I use one I used to call Nourish, and I'm like, oh no, I was about to lie and say it was my first day. It says, how many days in am I? It's a 2-day streak.
There you go. Look at that.
It has been really helpful, especially on the hydration goals. The nature of my work requires me to do like early morning calls or international stuff. The job requires a certain kind of focus. Sometimes it's hard to do unless it's hard to be that focused that. So I drink a lot of coffee, which has a diuretic effect. Getting hydrated has been a challenge. She recommended that I get, 98 ounces of water? Something crazy that is just like my back teeth are always floating.
You almost put your office next to the bathroom.
I slosh when I walk. If I shake now, you can hear my bladder.
As we've seen, growth brings both joy and struggle. Next time, we'll examine how these bonds impact our mental and physical health. Join us for Health and Heart.